This week, we got a cool, calm little episode of NXT. It wasn't anything crazy, anything special. It's kind of like the episode before a big show, because next week we're getting a whole bunch of big matches. We're getting a whole bunch of must-watch stuff, like Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints in a Last Man Standing match, and a whole bunch of other matches that's must-watch, must-see, and it's going to be an absolute banger. So this week, it was basically just an episode before we got to that. So there was really nothing much to do, nothing much to say, just basically buying time before we get to the big match, the big show. So that was basically what this was. So this week's episode of NXT, like I said, it wasn't anything crazy, just a fun little show. We did get to see some pretty cool stuff. We got to see some pretty neat matches. I enjoyed the promos we got, especially the promo from Kalani Jordan. That was amazing. And besides that, though, I also enjoyed the match with the young OG, Javon Evans, versus Saquon Sugars. That was a really nice match. Both men did their thing, but besides that, though, another match I really liked was the opener match, the 6-woman tag match. That was an absolute banger, okay? That was so good. That was such a good opener to the show. But besides that, though, like I said, this show was just a fun little calmer episode. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, nothing mind-blowing. It was just a cool little episode before we got to our big show, and that was that. And I'm really looking forward to next week to get into that big show. We'll get to see these matches that were promised, the matches that were announced, the matches that were confirmed. So I'm really excited for that. So that's why I'm not too mad about the episode we got, because I know better things are coming. So that's that. But anyhow, though, let me not hold you up for too long. Let's just get right into this review. Let's get right into this breakdown. But before all that, though, as always, our quote of the day. Quote of the day. You're not too much. You're exactly the amount someone prayed for. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalms chapter 139 verse 14. That is your quote of the day. Now let's get right into this video. Let's get right into this review. Let's get right into this breakdown. So on this week's episode of NXT, we started off with a 6-woman tag match, like I said. And this 6-woman tag match involved Vice City Lola Vice, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley versus Fatal Influence. And like I said, this was such a good opener. This was such a fun match. This was a nice, fast-paced, high-energy match, and all these stars absolutely did their thing. Both of these teams absolutely showed up, and they showed out. This was so fun. And we were getting people hitting emotes mid-match. We were getting people dancing mid-match. We were getting some nice high-fly moves, some nice heavy-hitting moves, some really impressive sequences. This was just a really fun match to watch. And like I said, both of these teams absolutely put on a show. Both Fatal Influence and Lola Vice and The Calling, they put on an absolute show. This was a delight to watch. But anyhow, though, at the end of the match, due to some miscommunication from Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame, JC Jane was able to hit this spinning lariat clothesline on Izzy Dame for the win, and that's how Fatal Influence picked up the win. After that, we even got a little backstage segment where Tatum Paxley was basically apologizing to Izzy Dame for the actions that happened, everything that transpired, basically saying that it's my fault that we lost. And Izzy Dame was like, don't even worry about it. I just want you to be more careful with your championship. I don't want you to lose it too quick. So be more careful and more precise with your decision making. Don't just hand out a title match to everyone and anyone. They have to earn it. And I was like, okay, I kind of see where that story's going, trying to build Tatum Paxley into a worthy champion, a real champion, not a fighting champion, just the Collings version of real champion. But anyhow, after this, we ended up getting a Kalani Jordan in-ring promo. And Kalani Jordan was basically out here responding to the hate she's been getting lately and basically justifying and defending her heelish actions as of late. So Kalani Jordan came out and said, last week, I did everything to retain this championship by any means necessary. And she went on to say, why is it that y'all cheer when Dominic Mysterio and Cody Rhodes cheat, but when I do it, it's a problem? Really? NXT's full of hypocrisy. Before this, I got booed and even kicked out of my own locker room. And I'm in the wrong here? Really? She went on to talk her mess. She said, there's not a single one back there that could keep up with me in the ring. And you all know it. You guys aren't fans, you're followers. And it's my time to be selfish now. And I'm not going to put this championship on the line. I'll defend it on my time. I'll defend it when I'm ready. Nobody's worthy to challenge me for it. And it's my time to be selfish now. And she basically just said that, dropped the mic, and walked out. We got a confirmed heel Kalani Jordan, meaner, more aggressive, more precise, more to the point. She's not taking anything from anybody. So that was that. And it was a really nice promo from her. And the crowd was really into it too. They were booing her out the building. And I was like, okay. So this heel turn definitely worked. It was definitely a successful heel turn. And even the women in the locker room, we got a little segment where they were all against her, talking about what happened to you? And she's like, you see what happened to me? I'm a champion now. Stop talking to me. What are we doing here? When you get some gold around your waist, some gold around your shoulder, come talk to me. But before that, get out of my way. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling it. And it was a really fun little segment. But anyhow, after this, we went on to get our second match of the night, and it was Mr. Negative Aura himself, Josh Briggs versus El Grande Americano. And this match, I'll be honest with you, I didn't care too much for this match. It was all right. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, nothing must watch, nothing worth rewatching. I shouldn't have even had to watch it the first time, I'll be honest with you. This match wasn't really anything crazy. It was cool, it was fun. It was nice seeing El Grande Americano down in NXT, but that was basically it. Josh Briggs did not do this match any justice, nor did El Grande Americano, honestly, because like these two, they did not click. Josh Briggs, like I said, Mr. Negative Aura, he's big and tough and tall for nothing. And El Grande Americano, he works well with people that are also high flyers too. And Josh Briggs is not that. So this was just kind of like your basic match, so nothing much to really say about it. But anyhow, though, we had Jasper Troy in attendance watching with the fans spectating the match because he will be facing off against El Grande Americano for the Speed Championship. So he was just in attendance watching the match, spectating, seeing who's going to win, seeing who comes out on top. So we saw him with the fans in the crowd. And we even got some interference throughout this match too. We got interference from Rio, we got interference from Bravo, and we even got interference from Tavion Heights. But anyhow, though, at the end of the match, El Grande Americano was able to pick up the win over Josh Briggs via submission, and Josh Briggs, Mr. Negative Aura, tapped out to El Grande Americano. I'm gonna let that sink in. You see why I call him Mr. Negative Aura now? Big, strong, and tall for nothing, okay? This man comes out confident to do nothing. This man talks his mess and can't back it up for nothing. Come on. Mr. Negative Aura himself lost via submission, via tap out. He tapped out. But anyhow, after this, we got an interview segment between Ricky Saints and Trick Williams. And they were basically in two different rooms. They were on the big screen, so it was like on the Timetron, and they were just basically responding to each other. So they had to be separated because these men were going to fight if they were in the same room. These men were going to tear each other's heads off if they were in the same room. So this was kind of a long interview segment, and there was a lot of things said. So I'm just going to give the rough breakdown of it, the rough rundown, because they said a lot of things. I'm just going to say the important stuff. So basically, the interview segment started off with Ricky Saints calling Trick Williams second best. Trick Williams responded by saying that I'm second best to no one. Saints is unworthy and unable to carry the weight of the championship or this brand. Saints went on to respond to Trick by saying, you took all this for granted, Trick. Look at you now. 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. You don't even know what you want to do. You don't even know where you want to be. I've never taken any of this for granted, and it shows. I'm the champion now. I'm the face of this place. And Trick Williams went on to respond saying that I'm the bigger star. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I'm better than you, Saints. And then these two quickly wrapped up this interview segment so they could throw hands. And I'm like, what was the point of them being separated? If they were like 2 steps away from each other, they could throw hands at each other. It was so funny. These two were like, you know what? I'm done talking. Where are you at? And Trick Williams was basically like, you know where I'm at. Come find me. And they just broke out into a big brawl backstage. And Trick Williams ended up leaving Ricky Saints laid out. He attacked Ricky Saints with this pole, with this pipe thing, and he was swinging for the fences. And I'm like, oh man, things are getting heated and they're getting serious. So that was basically to add more fuel to the last man standing match we're getting next week. So that was pretty cool. And I did enjoy this little interview segment. I enjoyed what both men were saying. I enjoyed the animosity. I enjoyed how serious they were, how competitive they were. This was a nice interview segment. But anyhow, after this, we went on to get our third match of the night. And it was a Women's Speed Championship round 1 tournament match. And it was Zarya versus Rin Sinclair. And once again, the Speed Championship matches, they're a 3-minute time limit match, and you have 3 minutes to beat and pin your opponent. Anyhow, this match itself, this was a pretty quick match, as always, because it's only 3 minutes. But Zarya absolutely came out. She woman-handled Rin Sinclair, and she beat and dominated and pinned Rin Sinclair with only 30 seconds left on the clock. She came out. She was no nonsense, straight business, no smiles, no nothing, no dance move, no emo. She came out serious. She came out mean. She came out aggressive. And I think we're getting like this more serious, more focused, more dangerous side of Zarya, which is pretty cool. I hope that's what we're getting, because after she lost to Blake Monroe, you really need to rebuild her again. You really need to make her look like a threat again. And now she's looking more like a threat. She absolutely woman-handled Rin Sinclair. And this wasn't even fair. This wasn't even 50-50. This wasn't even 70-30. This was a one-sided ordeal, a one-sided affair. And she came out, like I said, she absolutely beat, brutalized, and dominated Rin Sinclair with only 30 seconds left on the clock. And that was that. And she advances in the tournament. But anyhow, though, after this, we went on to get our 4th match of the night. And it was Kalani Jordan versus Tyra May Steele. And this match was happening because these women were kind of bickering backstage. But anyways, though, this match itself, it was a pretty quick match, but it was still a pretty alright match nonetheless. Nothing too crazy, but both stars were definitely still entertaining nonetheless. And it was great seeing Tyra May Steele back down in NXT. She's absolutely amazing in the ring. I like her whole presence, her whole persona, how she carries herself in the ring, how serious she is, how agile, and she actually looks like a dominant threat. So that's really nice. But anyways, though, we got some cool spots, some cool moves, and some cool sequences from both of these women, which was pretty neat to see. During this match, we got to see the meaner, more aggressive Kalani Jordan, the more heelish Kalani Jordan, and she was not taking any nonsense. She was moving deviously. She was moving questionably. And at the end of the match, she ended up hitting this split-legged moonsault, her finisher, on Tyra May Steele for the win. And she beat Tyra May Steele fair and square, cleanly, no interference, no nothing. But she did try to break Tyra May Steele's arm during the match, though. So we're not going to let that slide. I got to let that be known. She was moving deviously. But anyhow, after this, we went on to get our 5th and final match of the night. And it was the young OG, Javon Evans versus Saquon Sugars of Dark State. This was another really fun match too, and the young OG, as always, he was entertaining by default, but the person that really surprised me was Sugars. He did really well. He held his own really well, and he was entertaining too. He did a really good job. I liked how he was moving in the ring. I liked his moveset. I like how unseriously serious he was. It was a really nice sight seeing him in the ring, and I didn't really know how good he was till now. This was a really nice match to like represent him in a way. But anyhow, though, throughout this entire match, Javon Evans, the young OG, was basically outnumbered, and he was getting beat by the numbers game, interferences, the other Dark State members that were ringside just interfering right, left, and center every chance they got. So Javon Evans was basically outnumbered for the entire match. But luckily enough, the young OG, Javon Evans, was able to overcome the numbers game and outsmart Dark State, and he picked up the win over Sugars fair and square, and that was that. And that was your final match of the night. After this, we went on to get our main event segment, and the main event segment was a celebration for Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. They are our new AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions. So Ethan Page is holding 2 championships now, and Chelsea Green is holding a championship again, which is pretty cool. So they are the new AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions. So they basically came out celebrating and cutting a promo, basically celebrating all their achievements, how far they've come, how they were able to beat people down at AAA, how they're champions now, and all this and all that. So they basically said that we said we would be mixed tag team champions. Look at us now. We're standing here, mixed tag team champions. We called our shots and we made it a reality. We are 2 of the greatest champions and 2 of the greatest Canadians of all time. And they just went on to basically glaze each other, basically saying that they did the unthinkable. They said they would do it, so they did it. After glazing each other for a little bit, they went on to say that they are going to be a fighting duo. They are going to be fighting champions, and they will defend these championships against anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. And as soon as they closed their mouth, as soon as they finished saying that, anyone who wants it, come get it, we hear, say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. We got Joe Hendry himself coming out to challenge Chelsea Green and Ethan Page to a mixed tag team match for the mixed tag team championships. And the match got confirmed, and it will be Joe Hendry and Thea Hale versus Ethan Page and Chelsea Green for the AAA mixed tag team championships. And let me just say, this duo of Thea Hale and Joe Hendry is absolutely comedy. It's absolutely gold. It's absolutely amazing. I enjoyed this little segment so much. Thea Hale was dressed exactly like Joe Hendry, doing Joe Hendry taunts and everything. This was so funny. This was so nice to see. And this duo is absolutely gold. And this was so funny to see. And Joe Hendry and Thea Hale ended up pieing and beating down everybody in the ring. They beat down Chelsea Green. They beat down Ethan Page and went on to pie them in the face. And I'm like, okay, I'm all here for it. I'm all here for the goofy shenanigans. This was funny. This was really nice. And I did like that little comedy segment, I want to call it. It was a really nice change of pace in the show. But anyhow, though, that was your last segment. That was the last thing we saw. Chelsea Green and Ethan Page getting pied in the face, and Joe Hendry and Thea Hale standing tall and celebrating. And that was your whole show, and that's how the show ended. And overall, I would rate this episode of NXT probably a solid 6 out of 10. Like I said, it was just a cool, calm little episode. Nothing crazy, nothing mind-blowing, nothing must-watch, but it was definitely still a nice little fun show. And I did enjoy what I saw for the most part. And like I said, I'm just mainly excited for next week, seeing the big matches that were announced, the big matches that were confirmed, and mainly that Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints last man standing match. I'm really excited for that too. So yeah. But anyways, though, this week's episode of NXT is definitely going to get a solid 6 out of 10 from me. But anyhow, that was your breakdown. That was your review of this week's episode of NXT. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.